Hey guys, I'm Alex. I'm a recreational cyclist, doing some riding and racing for a couple years now, and just wanted to take you through some of the kit that I've owned and show you some of my favorites and some of my least favorites. Hopefully this is a guide to kind of give you a starting point on if you're interested in getting some bibs. I just want to show you the ones I've had, ones I've liked. We're gonna grade them on three aspects. Value, number one, like their price, their quality, and their fit. And so we'll get into those reviews now. First, let's talk about these Amazon, the coconut bibs. Anyway, yeah, these are pretty bad. Mainly, so the key differences here, you're getting this little bitty silicone leg gripper here. It does an okay job. You really start to notice when you're spending this much money, the quality of materials is vastly different. We're talking about the entire bib is made out of the same material. The stitching you see is just single stitch. You know, if you wore this a lot, it would definitely start to come undone. But mainly the most important thing is the chamois here. This chamois is very bulky. It has some thickness to it, but it just, this material that's on top of the chamois, you see it's starting to pill up, and it's this kind of almost like fleece type material, and so it really kind of sticks to your backside when you start to sweat, and it's just not very comfortable. Not the most breathable either. It's got these perforations in it, but I don't find it supremely breathable. Also the foam inside of here, you squeeze it and you can pretty much go straight to the other side of it pretty easily. I find that after I wore these a decent amount that the foam inside breaks down pretty quickly, and so you're not gonna get nearly as much life and the number of years out of this bib. Also but probably worst of all is the fit. So I'm a small in all of these bibs, and this bib is significantly bigger and looser fitting than the rest of them. Where you mainly notice that is so number one would be in the straps here. Vertically, there's just a lot more material. It's not as compressive. These straps aren't flexible at all. They just, they're just one size, and so if they're not doing anything there. And as well as in the legs, it's just not very form-fitting around the hips and the legs for me. In general, I don't like these bibs very much. I've gotten saddle sores from these bibs before, and so I pretty much never wear these unless I'm gonna do a very short ride on the trainer, and we're talking an hour or less. I would not want to be in these bibs for longer than an hour. Here we have the Rapha Pro Team training bib. In general, I would say I like this bib. This is probably one of the better fitting bibs I have. It just fits really nice. These straps aren't stretchy, or well, they stretch a little bit, but I just find that the cut of this bib is just is good. Fits me well. I like the stitching around the legs here. It gives you a nice place to pull as you're putting them on. I find that I like that. The legs are on the tighter side, which can take some getting used to. This style of leg gripper, it's more thin and it's pretty the compression on it is pretty tight, and so that can it will start to like dig into your leg a little bit, but I don't find it bothers me too much. It never rides up on my leg. My one complaint about this bib is that the chamois is very thin, and the foam that it uses is quite soft. And so this is a pro tip, is what kind of saddle does your bike have? I find that, so for my road bike, I have a pretty firm saddle. It's a Physique Argo saddle, and the padding in that saddle is quite firm. But my gravel bike and my mountain bike have saddle. One of them is a Bontrager saddle, and the other is a Giant brand saddle. And those saddles are much more soft padding, and they have a little bit of flex to the frame of the saddle itself. And I find that this bib works much better for those softer saddles than a firmer saddle. I find on my road bike with the firm saddle that I just feel more pressure through this bib because of the thinness of it. And so I pretty much wear this just when I'm riding my gravel or mountain bike, and it works really well for that. The only other complaint I have, this is a little bit of, it's just kind of nitpicky thing, is that the waist on this bib comes up pretty high. And so I find it very difficult to go to the bathroom mid-ride because the waist is so high. Yeah, otherwise this is a great bib. Price on it though is pretty high. So it's a premium product, but the fit is very good. Quality materials also is exceptional, but the chamois is just not my favorite. All right, next bib we have here are my black bibs. These are just the classic black bib short. These are $40. I wanted to like these so much just because of the price. But unfortunately, I have never gotten around to loving these shorts. The main gripe I have two gripes with it. I went with the cheapest option, the $40 option, which does not have the leg gripper here at all. There's no sticky kind of material here, so and that actually does make a difference. I do find that these shorts start to ride up my leg during a ride, and I'm having to like pull them back down. That's a little bit annoying, as well as, but my main thing is this chamois. It is very thick and has no perforations in it. I don't find that it breathes well at all, and I sweat a lot in the chamois, and it does not, once you start sweating in this, because of the thickness of it, and it's like the same, it's very similar very similar thickness of foam throughout the chamois. I find that it does not feel comfortable on me. I find it feels very bulky underneath me. And this foam, it's not the worst. I would say it's definitely a step up over the Amazon bib, but it's definitely not my favorite. I reserve this bib for rides around an hour and a half would be pushing it a little bit. I just find that my butt just gets uncomfortable in this bib longer than that, as well as I'm just getting sweaty. But the fit, other than the leg, is pretty good. Fits good. I would say the quality of materials is definitely a step up over the Amazon bib for sure. This is a much thicker fabric. The stitching is double stitched in places. I've had these for a couple years now and not having any issues with things falling apart or anything. So overall, pretty good value, very good value. But just I wish this chamois was better. The chamois is the deal breaker for me. I've thought about trying the Ultimate bib, which is their more expensive one. I think it's $80, and it potentially could solve both the problems I have, which is the chamois. It has a different chamois, and it has leg grippers. So that could be a home run, but yeah, haven't tried it yet. Okay, next we have our Col Sport bib. The main difference that you're seeing, but this is, I think, the generation 1. Now they're on what's called the Sport 2, but I do think that they're very similar. They haven't changed much. This one is one of their cheaper bibs, and what you can tell a difference. I have all 3 of the different types of bibs that Col has. The reason why I bought 3 of them is you can pretty consistently find Strava deals, get a coupon from Col, and so that makes their bibs a lot more affordable. I think these start at $210, but you can get $50 to $60 off on Strava using their coupons, so that makes it a lot better of a deal. But yes, this one is the Sport one. It has a bit of a thinner chamois than the other 2, the Hors Category and the Pro Team, or the Pro bib. This one is a bit of a just a standard foam chamois. It's a little bit thinner than the one on the black bibs. I find that this one is much more comfortable than the one on the black bib. It's got these ridges in it that basically allow it to feel better when it conforms to your body. Find that this one is much more comfortable. Again, this chamois is on the thinner side, so I like to wear it on my gravel bike or my mountain bike with the more cushioned saddles. I can wear it on my road bike, and I do wear it on my road bike. This was actually my first, other than the Amazon bib, this was my first proper bib, and so I put a lot of years and miles into this thing, and it's held up great. Some of the stitching has started to come undone right there. You can see the chamois is starting to separate from the bib itself, but that doesn't, I mean, I'm still riding it, and it doesn't, it's purely aesthetic. It's not causing me any discomfort. It might continue to unravel, and then eventually the chamois would just come completely off, but there's a lot of stitching left. I'm not too worried about that. The upper section here is just this kind of thin mesh material, which is actually extremely cool when riding. I find it breathes very well. But I will say, after years and years of use, this has stretched out a decent amount. These are pretty stretchy, and they've just kind of gotten a little bit loose over time. The way it fits on my upper body is loose now. Does that bother me? Not really. I'm not racing really in these bibs, and so it's just a solid class. I mean, it's just a good bib. I would say if you can pick these up for around $150, it's a solid option for a beginner bib. I'm not going to be doing big miles on this chamois particularly, but I could definitely ride the chamois easily 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. 3 hours would be pushing it, but leg gripper on this, the leg gripper I find is the same on all of their bibs. It's just this little silicone. I find it works pretty well. As it ages, it will start to kind of fold up a little bit, and as it gets older, but it's still, I never find myself pulling them down. I think it does a pretty good job of staying on my leg. Yeah, overall I've been pretty impressed with these. Next in the Col collection, we have their Pro bib. Like the Sport bib, I think they're now on a 2nd generation, but I think the chamois, from looking at the pictures on the website, the chamois looks more or less unchanged. You can definitely tell a big difference in the quality of chamois over the Sport bib. This is a much thicker, firmer chamois with an actual I don't know, but it's a different type of foam for sure. It's like almost like a memory foam, like Tempur-Pedic almost type material. I really like this chamois a lot. It has good padding up even beyond just the rear butt pad here. It's got some decent padding even up here in the front. I find that I've done multiple centuries in this bib. I find I get along with this bib very well. It's definitely on the thicker side, so if you have a very firm saddle, this is going to be a good chamois for you. Like the Sport bib, it's got the same leg grippers that I find I get along with pretty well. It's got the quality material. I would say the actual material is very similar, maybe a little bit thicker than the Sport bib, but stitching wise and everything, you get double stitching. It's got these little reflectors on it. The upper, so I think they've changed this for the 2. The upper, not the hugest fan of. It's okay. This like kind of meshy material, it breathes okay, but I know some people don't like these thick bands on the outside. It can kind of dig into your skin a little bit. I haven't had any issues, but I do find that, yeah, like it's really easy for this to tear, and it just starts to kind of look bad. As well as I've used this so many times. I've used this bib so many times. It's the white is like starting to stain, but it still fits okay. I would say it's a good height. The waist of it comes up to a good distance. I've worn these so many times now that they've gotten looser over time, and it's easy for me to pull down the front to get access and go to the bathroom. Yeah, I would say if you're looking at the Col collection and you like longer rides, I would say it's worth it to pay the extra $50 or $40 to get this bib over the Sport bib if you're liking to put in long miles, long rides. This bib is definitely worth the extra money. And finally, in the Col bib collection, we have their Hors Category bib. This bib, so construction-wise, it's more unique than the other two in that it's got this side panel on the legs that's a different material. This material, it breathes pretty well. You can see through it. It's very thin. But is it worth paying the extra money over that bib? I don't think so. I mean, the main differences, I think, are these straps. These straps are definitely better than those straps. However, those straps are completely fine to me. However, this is a better design for straps for sure. I like this material around the base where it connects to the straps. It's this, basically they use this different type of material. It just makes the bib feel nice and fit nice. Do you need it? Absolutely not. And then finally, the main difference is this chamois, which they on their website seem to call it their like ultra distance chamois. I disagree. I actually think that I like that chamois better. This chamois is just, I don't know, the gel or the foam inside of it is not as rigid and firm as that one, as well as I find it's just a narrower, it's not as wide. So maybe if you have smaller hips and you have narrower sit bones, this may be a better chamois for you, but that one I find I get along with much better. It just feels more quality than this. That one has more perforations in it to breathe a little bit better. This one does not. So in my opinion, if it's my money, I'm buying the Col Pro bib over this Hors Category one. I like this one. I wear it a lot. And I feel comfortable riding 3 hours plus on this bib. same as that bib. But if you told me I had to choose one, I'm gonna pick that one every time. So, and last but certainly not least, we have my favorite bib by far. This is the Giordana FR-C Pro. Again, I remind you that I am not sponsored. I race for a team that happens to get these bibs, but I paid pretty much full price for this bib. It just happens to have our team's like colors and logo on it, but I would pay full price for this. These bibs retail for $250, and you can just tell. I mean, you can see where the money goes. The quality of materials here is exceptional. Definitely a step up over Col and even Rapha. One of my favorite features, so these straps, that's not my favorite feature, but these straps are really nice. I love that they don't have those hard edges like those other ones do. They're much more uniform and they sit flat on your skin, and then they're very stretchy. So I find these bibs just fit a lot tighter, and so that feels really nice. The back here material breathes really well. Combined with their FR-C jersey, I find, anyway, it's just an extremely cool kit in the summer. But my favorite, what I was gonna say is my favorite feature is actually this panel right here. So these actually come up decently high, like above your belly button, but because this panel, it's an extremely thin, flexible material, extremely stretchy, and so it's very easy for you to like pull this down and access for the bathroom, and I really like that they thought of that. And then if you look, the rest of the materials on this are just very quality. Like there's a lot of different panels, and that you feel like they use them in strategic ways, and they've like thought of everything. So these leg grippers, they're much thicker and longer than the ones on the Col or the Rapha ones, and so they stay on your leg extremely well. They have these like, it's like the silicone is like actually printed onto them, and I've had these multiple years and they have held up exceptionally well. The chamois though, that's my favorite part. That's the most important thing of the bib. And these are just a really good balance between thick and thin. So they're thick exactly where you want it. So right here in the rear, and then it kind of tapers off and gets a little bit thinner as it goes forward. I don't know, I just find that I really love doing long rides in these. Racing, just endurance miles. This is just my favorite bib to wear. It's just the most comfortable for me. And most of it has to do with the chamois. It also is, the fit of this bib is exceptionally well. And so I liked it so much, actually, that this is the first kit that I've actually bought another pair of. That shows you how much I like it. And so I recently just picked up this navy one, and it's just as good. I mean, so I bought this one probably maybe 2021, so at this point it's like 3 years old. This one I just picked up last week, and it is, you can tell they haven't changed a thing. It's still the same thing. It's very well made. So I'm a huge fan of these Giordana FR-C Pro bibs. I cannot recommend them enough. Again, I'm a small in all of these, but these definitely fit the tightest and most form-fitting, so just be aware of that when you get yours. But Giordana FR-C Pro, man, these are sick. I love these things. Can't say enough more positive about them. First in the bottom, I got to give it to the Coconut Bibs, Who saw it coming? Yeah, these are just cannot recommend it. I mean, the price is great on these, but I think if you can just save your money a little bit, spend a little bit more, you're going to be happier. Your butt's going to thank you in the long run, as well as you're going to save money in the long run, because all these bibs last a lot longer than these Amazon ones, and you're just going to end up having to buy more of these Amazon ones in the future. So save your money and save up for a little bit nicer bib. So next, I'm going to rank the black bibs in the C category. These can get the job done, but they just don't feel the best for me personally. It's up to you to kind of try and see for yourself. Then in the B category, I'm going to rank actually the Rapha Pro training bib and the, let's see, yes, the Col Sport bibs. These are just really average for me. I mean, both of these have that thinner chamois like I talked to you about, so that limits their ability to be used for longer rides. So just because I have to limit these to shorter rides or rides on my mountain bike or gravel bike, that's why these are going in the B category. Otherwise, the fit and price on at least the Col one is pretty competitive. Next in the A category, I got to give it to the other two Col bibs, the Hors Category and the Pro Team bib. These are great bibs. Definitely solid all-rounders. I think a really good value if you can get the Strava discounts. Definitely recommend these bibs. And then finally in the S tier, I got to give it to the Giordana bib. This is just my all-time favorite. It's basically the same price as the Col or the Rapha, but just much more comfortable, but much better fit. Yeah, can't say enough good about these. There you go. There's my ranking of all my bibs.